and set up the MySQL workbench editor in your laptop or computer. In this video, I am telling you how you can use databases in MySQL, how you can create, how you can view, and how you can delete the databases. So this is the first practical thing which we are going to learn in MySQL. So let's get started. So after establishing the connection with MySQL, to manipulate the data, you need to connect to a database. Database is nothing but a collection of different but related tables. How you can create it and how you can manipulate with those databases, this is what we are going to learn in this tutorial. So this is the syntax. Create database and then the database name. This is the syntax to create the database. So this statement is a DDL, data definition language statement, that is used to create a new database. So before creating a database, you need to make sure that you have sufficient privileges. What are those privileges and how you can grant or revoke the privileges to any specific user, that we will discuss in the next tutorial. But here I am just telling you how you can create a database, assuming you already have the privileges to create the database. So the syntax is create database and database name. So database name is just a placeholder, it represents the name of the database. You can name it anything. So let's understand it with an example. We'll create a new database which is tutorials. How you can create it? Let's go to the MySQL workbench which we downloaded recently. So this is MySQL workbench. This is a local server which I have created. So just double click on it and it will open. So the syntax to create the database is create database, and I will name the database as tutorials. Once you will execute this command, it will create a database which is named as tutorials. So to execute it, this is the execute menu that we have, and the database is successfully created. So once you have created the database, you want to verify whether it is created correctly or whether it is created or not. How you can do this? To do this, we have a syntax named show databases. So once you will click on show databases, it will show all the databases that I have in my MySQL right now. You can see I have just created a new database, and also please remember that there are some already there are already some inbuilt databases that are already there whenever you download MySQL. So let me show you. We will show databases, and then I'll execute this. Once you will execute this, it will show you all the databases that you have. You can see the tutorials is the one which I have just created, and there are some inbuilt system generated databases that are already there, which is information schema, MySQL, performance schema, sys is for system, and MySQL is the default database that you have. Okay, so this is how you can view the databases as well. So there is another clause which is if not exist. So let me show you with an example. For example, I created this database tutorial already, and if I will create another database with the same name, let me try to execute this. It will give me an error that can't create database tutorial because it is already exist. So if you are working in a large environment where there are huge set of data and databases, how you can do that? So for that, there is a statement which is if not exist. So create database, and if you will place if not exist with the create database statement, what it will do is it will check whether my database is already there or not. If it exists, it will not create, but if it doesn't exist, only then it will create. So let me show you. So create database if not exists Rocky course, that is the name of my channel. So what it will do is it will firstly check whether it exists or not, and it will create only if this database with this name will not exist. Let me show you. So it has executed. So let's do the show databases again, and you can see now we have Rocky course as my database as well. So what is the benefit of that? If you use the if not exist clause along with the create statement, as shown below. A new database will be created, and if a database with given name already exists, it will ignore that query completely. It will not throw an error, it will simply ignore the query. So I'll do that again, and this time you can see there is no error. It's just a warning that can't create database Rocky codes because it already exists. This is why, because we use if node exists statements. So you understood, right, that how you create the database and how you have created with the MySQL if node exists clause. Now let's learn how to drop the database. Drop simply means the delete. The drop database statement in MySQL is used to delete a database along with all the data such as tables, views, indexes. So database contains various set of elements like tables, views, indexes, stored procedure and constraints. What are those and how to create those? This we will learn in our upcoming tutorials. But just remember that if we drop a database, it will drop the database as well as all the tables, views, indexes, stored procedure and constraints inside that database. So this is a very critical step. So it is important to make sure that we have to perform the backup of the database that we are trying to delete. So always before deleting the database, you must have the backup for that, because once the drop database statement is executed, all the data and the database objects in the database will be permanently deleted and that cannot be recovered. So make sure to get a backup if you are going to drop a very critical database having some sensitive data. But if it is some temporary data, then you can drop it. But make sure that once it is deleted, it will permanently delete and cannot be recovered. And it is also important to ensure that no other user or application is currently connected to the database. If any other user or application is currently connected to the database we want to delete, if we try to delete the database while others are connected to it, that it can cause a data corruption. For example, someone is using on a database particularly and I have created the database, it can create a lot of anomalies. So before using this drop database statement, make sure these two statements very critical. How to drop that? Simply, the syntax is drop database and the database name that you want to delete. So let's drop one of the, I just created two databases, one was Rocky code and one was tutorials. Let's try to delete Rocky codes. So you can see, let me first show you the databases that we have. You can see Rocky codes is there. Once I will drop this, drop database, drop equals. So let's execute. So you can see drop statement is correctly executed. Now let me show you the databases. Once you will execute this statement, now you can see the Rocky database, Rocky code database is no more there because we have dropped that. Okay, this is the example that I've shown you. So this is how you can drop the databases. So now we will learn about show database state. So for example, we are creating a data. So whatever table and anything that we'll create, we need to show how many databases that we have, like I show you in my previous example as well, show databases. So let me give you more in depth of how show database statement works. To display the list of all the databases present in MySQL server, we need to use the show database statement. It returns the results in a tabular form with one column, the database, all the databases that are stored in the MySQL that I have right now. So if I'll execute this show database statement, it will display all the databases that I currently have in my system. So also you can use some like pattern. I hope you already know how to use a like pattern. If you don't, I will create a separate video for that. So you can view all the databases in a particular pattern also. Let me give you an example. So we created one database which is tutorials. So it will display all the databases that we have. So also we can see show schema. Show schema also we can use similarly like that. So let me show you show schemas. So what it will do is, it will also show you the schema databases that we have. So you can see we can use show schema as well. We can also use the show schema statement to list out the databases MySQL. It is nothing but a different way to view all the databases. But the meaning of show database and show schema is nothing but the same. So this is how you can create, show and delete the databases in MySQL. And also, if you want to work in a particular database, and if you want that I want this database as the default database to create all the tables indexes, how we can do that? We can use the word use database. So one we created just tutorials. So no need to use the database here. Just simply write use tutorials. So once you will write like this, use tutorials, all the create tables and everything which you will create will be created under this tutorials database. To understand it more, we will watch in our next videos. So this is how you can use the databases in MySQL. I hope this video is helpful. If you have any question, you can enter your question in the comment box, so we will see and I will help you resolve the doubts. For now, this is it, and I hope you have liked the video. If you like, please like and subscribe the video. I will see you in my next videos.